Joining me now is Janet Murguia, President and CEO of Unidas US, the nation's largest Hispanic advocacy group. Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to share with you something that you may have seen that happened. I think it was at a LULAC event a few days ago, a few nights ago in Nevada. This was questioning the candidates on who's the president of Mexico. Let's watch.
I'm asking because I feel like a lot of the times, this is our neighbor to the south, and a lot of people don't even know his name. So you know.
I forget.
Do you know his name?
I forget.
Do you know who he is? Do you know his name?
Yeah. I know that he is the Mexican president.
But can you tell me his name?
No.
Can you tell me who the president of Mexico is?
Yeah, President López Obrador, I hope.
You're the only one that's been able to tell me that today.
Really?
Really? I mean, did you see Amy Klobuchar was sort of looking for a lifeline or
trying to get that phone a friend in there?
I mean, that is surprising.
It is.
Our nearest neighbor.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, folks appeal to the Mexican-American community. There are still a lot of ties. But, you know, it's not the end of the world if someone doesn't know his name. But you think on a presidential stage, you'd want to know your nearest neighbor, and you're in a state that has
nearest
ties.
Neighbor to Nevada, I should say, not any nearer than Canada.
That's correct.
To the north. But what about the Hispanic vote? The rising number of Latinos in Nevada, the fact that this is the first diverse test.
That's right.
It's so different from Iowa and New Hampshire, obviously. Who has advantages here, as you see it?
Well, there's no question that this is going to be one of the first states that we're going to see a preference by a minority, but now majority state of minority voters in Nevada. Latinos represent 1 out of 3 Nevadans, and we're going to see them weigh in a big way. We've seen the Latino vote grow since 2010 in Nevada. So this is actually going to be a really textbook sort of state to look at. When Harry Reid was in trouble and needed to rethink how he was going to win his reelect in 2010, he leaned into strategies that would engage fully the Latino community, built those relationships, invested in promoting issues, and made commitments on those issues. And since that time, we've seen the growth of the Latino community, but not just the community itself, but of voters. And they have turned out. They turned out for him in the end when he did all of those steps. They turned out to elect the first Latina senator in the United States Senate, in Catherine Cortez Masto. And Jackie Rosen benefited in 2018 from being elected to the Senate by this core group of voters in Nevada. So they are very energized, and they're going to be very engaged in this caucus, is my prediction. I know that we're seeing already high levels of turnout in these early caucus opportunities. And I think that one of the things we're going to see, though, what's important to Latino voters, we have a saying at Unidos US that they go to the polls with immigration on their hearts, but top of mind is jobs in the economy, health care, and increasingly housing issues. When you break down how the economy, yes, it's growing, but it's not benefiting Latinos right now. They're seeing the stagnant wages impact them, and what is really affecting their ability to grow economically are the rising costs of housing. 86% of Hispanics in Nevada, we just did a poll, we're previewing, and we'll be part of a press conference tomorrow with other Latino organizations. I'm flying out to Nevada. But we're talking about the fact that there are key issues that the candidates must address. Health care, drug prices, housing, all of these are going to have an impact on who is speaking to the issues that our community cares about.
Well, you've laid out the whole campaign for us. That's terrific. We will catch up with you later this week in Nevada.
Well, one of the things I just want to say is Unidos US has invested a lot in engaging the Latino electorate. We launched an Adelante 2020 campaign, and we're going to see how not only our work has benefited in increasing Latino voter turnout in Florida and Texas, but now in states like Arizona and Nevada. We've registered over 700,000 new Latino voters in the last decade, and we're excited to see the engagement by Latino voters in Nevada and in other states to come.
It's very exciting. Thank you so much, Janet.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.